Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the REKAP Lunch Hour on a Thursday, a hot Thursday in the city of Chicago. I'm Ryan McGuffey. The REKAP Lunch Hour with Guff, as always, brought to you by our fine partners at Hooters, original Hooters.com, order.hooters.com. Check out those incredible lunch specials, the OG wings, the boneless wings, the burger, the underrated burger, and the snow crab, of course, the legs. $14.99 a pound this month. The chat is full. People are pissed again. We're yelling about the Cubs as we have all week. We are officially 1 week out. We are officially 1 week from the MLB trade deadline. You guys have been calling for this for a while. That say, Jed, where you at? It's a sense of urgency now. Blah, blah, blah. I actually am starting to buy it a little bit more. The Royals are not a good baseball team. However, one underrated part of the Royals, they have the second best team ERA in all of baseball at 3.5. 3.50. Seth Lugo, a guy they should actually be looking at. I'm sure they were scouting yesterday in their own backyard. The Royals, if they could only hit, they'd be a playoff team. They can pitch, and you see the power of pitching. When you're a really good pitching ball club, usually you can walk away winners. And they took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Colin Ray, I'm not going to hammer Colin Ray all that much because I think he's been everything you could have ever asked for as a spot starter, as a long reliever turned spot starter after the injuries to Justin Steele and Shota Imanaga. I'm not going to hammer Colin Ray. I'm not. What I'm going to do is say it's time. We saw yesterday Alcantara versus Cease in the Marlins-Padres game, and Alcantara was fantastic in that game. No runs allowed, 4 hits. Cease was 5. A lot of you guys yesterday were saying, don't give me Dylan Cease. I don't get that, to be honest with you. It sounds like the Cubs are very much involved in the Dylan Cease talks. And then a name this morning that came out is that the Cubs are very closely monitoring Emmanuel Clase, the stud closer from the Cleveland Guardians, who's got a lot of control left. He's extremely cheap and would be very expensive. Maybe that's a deal that includes like all the money of Jose Ramirez. I don't know. Let's get to the chat. The real Phil Simms. Yesterday was straight hot garbage. Everything Cap said was spot on. Now they better sweep the White Sox. Head to Milwaukee, no more than a game behind. Simply unacceptable on all levels. Let me ask you a question. What makes you think the Cubs are sweeping the White Sox right now? The White Sox are actually playing really good baseball. Yesterday was the best win of the year for the White Sox. I don't want to say stunned. Nothing stuns me in baseball. I mean, the White Sox, people, you swept the Pirates. And then the Pirates turned around and swept the Tigers. The White Sox lead the majors in runs scored after the All-Star break. They lead the majors. Even the game they lost, they were down 4-0. They came back and got within a run and had a shot in the 9th inning. They're a different team. Yesterday, they were down 4-0 in the first inning. And what happens? Second inning, boom, Sox get 4 back. They've scored 49 runs. The next closest team has scored 37. The Cubs have scored 25. I don't know where you're thinking they're going to sweep. Adrian Hauser on the bump tomorrow against Imanaga. It should be good. What's up, Jess? Getting down to the wire as to who will blink first before the trade deadline. But the Cubs should just get it over with and make the trade. The longer he waits, the longer the problem persists. Guff, Gallon, Keller, Sandy, Cease. 2 of them is what the Cubs need. Bring Gino too. What the hell, Jed? Don't screw this up. Suzuki had a bad day. It happens. No big deal. I said it earlier this season. I'll say it again. Injuries will determine the postseason. Ricketts barely made any deals in January and we're scrambling in July. The one thing I'll say about that is the Dodgers made they spent a shit ton of money in the bullpen. And they're having bullpen issues. The Dodgers are out shopping for bullpen. Sometimes, even when you spend the money, you're looking around at this time of year and going, we still need 2 or 3 things. I'm not making excuses for the Cubs. They probably should have addressed their staff a little bit better. But now is the time. Jess wants to know, can we also talk about Ben Johnson yanking the first team out yesterday? I like the discipline I'm seeing. Hope that translates to game day. Yeah, Ben Johnson met the media this morning already and was like, I didn't throw them out of practice, but we've had limited time and we got stuff to do. When you line up twice in the wrong formation, I love that move. That's called accountability at its finest. Not a guy or a coach going, oh, okay, guys, we'll get it next time. I know you know what the play is, so why don't you go ahead and run it anyway? No. Becky, Ray sucked and the offense sucked. That's fine. Like, Ray gave up some. That's why I'm not going to hammer a guy who has been admirable in that spot. And the offense, every single day they've carried you this season. And by the way, we're the second best team in baseball. Let's not forget that. The offense is the biggest reason why. Hope Ben does regular Monday interviews with Cap and Jay Hood. I can't see him having any phone problems at Hallis Hall. I don't know if he will be. Yeah, a short time ago, we found out that the legend, Hulk Hogan, passed away at the age of 71. Big names this week, right? They said people in threes, Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan. I mean, when I was a kid, Hulkamania was it, man. Like that, it had this like Americana feel. So the legend of Hulk Hogan passes away at the age of 71. If Hoyer doesn't do anything at the deadline, Guff, you can be pissed at him. I will be. I said I'd flip a table over. I would flip a table over because you have a shot to win the World Series with this team. I really believe that. Rest in peace from Thomas to Hulk Hogan. A sad week in the entertainment business, as I just said. Love the fire from the defense at camp so far. Kind of worried with all the attention on offense, the defense would not match. My concerns were unfounded. All right, Jess, so somebody who played the game of football in high school and college, when you get to this time of year, the defense is always ahead of the offense. Offense is learning. There's install, your formations, plays. Defense is just, they need to fly around. Yes, the defense has a new coordinator, Dennis Allen. I like what Dennis Allen had him doing the other day. He was pissed that they weren't doing the job, had him doing old-fashioned up-downs. I mean, I love what, from the accountability factor at Hallis Hall, I love it. Hope you're able to grab your recap lunchbox, Guff, and join Cap at training camp tomorrow. I won't be at training camp tomorrow. I will be on the south side. Tentative plans to be on the south side tomorrow afternoon and into the evening for the Cubs and Sox round 2 of the Crosstown. Now, we are going to be at training camp at some point as a recap group. We will let you know when that is. I believe Kevin Byard will be scheduled to join us, so we will make that happen. Kevin Byard back for season 2 of Intercepted here on the recap. If Jed doesn't do anything at the deadline, fire him now. Don't wait until the end of the year. That would mean Jed, that if he was getting fired for that, that would mean Tom Ricketts told him to go out and do something and he didn't do it. I don't think that would happen. Good morning from California, Phil. How did you not lead with that one, my man? When's the next Hooters event? TBD. I believe we're hosting a fantasy football draft. Phil, Becky agrees that he should be fired too. Guff, you know it'll be a terrible look if other teams make moves and the Cubs don't. That happens, you can guarantee Tucker's gone. You guys are too worried about everybody else right now when no one has done anything. Like, I'm telling you, the reason no one's done anything is because everyone is saying you need to pay 6 mortgages in order to make the trade that you want. Maybe Hoyer doesn't want to win this year. The 16 team were 63 and 41 before the deadline. Is that what you came up with, Becky? 63 and 41? And the Cubs are 60 and 42. So, I mean, they're basically the same team is what you're telling me. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is not a team. If they were like 53 and 45, then I think we're sitting here talking like, oh God. And they need to make a boatload of moves to hang with them. I'm looking at that 16 team right now. July 31st, 63 and 41. This particular July 31st, the Cubs will have played more games. So they get the 3 against the White Sox. So yeah, we'll see. They're going to have more losses as we know, but they're basically the same team. I'm done with the Brown experiment. Wicks can't stay healthy and can't pitch. I think everyone's agreed with that. Assad might not pitch. I haven't relied on Javier Assad since he went on the 60-day DL. Go get maybe 2 starting pitchers and put Colin Ray back in the pen. We need Boyd. Yeah, but Becky, you and everybody else was not excited when Matthew Boyd was signed to the Cubs, and he's been fantastic. I feel like Jed believed this division wouldn't be that competitive. If the last 2 years haven't shown anything, I don't know what will. The Brewers do more with less. Really? I understand you. Like, the Milwaukee Brewers have the best record in baseball, guys. I mean, and the Cubs are right there. This is why Counsell left Milwaukee. Why? Milwaukee wins. This sucks without Steele. Do we need another third baseman and put Shaw on the bench? As Matt Shaw's hit, 3 homers his last 5 days? You guys, there's a lot of panic out there. If we didn't lose Steele, Tyone, and Assad to injuries, we'd be singing a different tune, we think. Injuries are here, so Jed has to step up again and get replacements. Let's talk about that, though. Let's assume Justin Steele's healthy, and even Tyone and Assad are injured. It is a different team, and maybe you're looking more at like an Adrian Hauser type, and saying we are pretty damn good, and go get a bullpen guy. I don't know. Everyone hey guys, worry about Matt or Kyle Tucker or worry about what you have right now and not what's going to happen 3 months from now. Do the Cubs get Lugo? Let me ask you a question. I'm going to tell you scenario since we're all thinking about the future. Cubs win the World Series and lose Kyle Tucker. Are you cool with that? Because I guarantee if you're not, we got other problems. The Cubs, can they get Lugo? They could. He's got a player option for next year, which could complicate the trade package. Maybe want to see if they can opt into that. Can't see that, Becky. Cubs will most likely trade prospects. Keep Tucker for at least the rest of the year. They're definitely keeping Kyle Tucker. That's not even happening. If we miss the playoffs, it'll be 5 years since yeah, I know. That's what I've been saying. It's been 7 years since they've won a playoff game? Sense of urgency needs to be now. You said they would beat the Royals yesterday, man, and they blew it. Well, thank God I didn't make that my bet of the day. But yeah, I thought the Cubs offense would. I thought the over was definitely the play. I probably should have just made that. I didn't want to do a 120 for my bet of the day. Hopefully they get Adrian Hauser so they don't have to face him tomorrow. How about that? We're in a place now where we think the Cubs should sign Adrian Hauser or trade for Adrian Hauser. Becky doesn't trust Jed Hoyer. A lot of people don't. And then there's Godfather. According to what Hoyer and Ricketts are doing, the games they lose now or last week don't count as much as August and September. Yeah, I hate that philosophy. I always think a bad April can cost you a division. OD, Cubs need to make a deal like I need sleep tonight. Sox were fun last night. I'll worry about Dobbers if they start stacking L's in season. Sox were really fun last night in multiple ways. For those of you, I did a long recap. If you didn't catch it, I call it the game of the year. I think it was. Godfather with his daily "We Stinks" along with the t-shirt. Peyton, do you think the Cubs make a trend by the end of the weekend? I wouldn't be surprised if we started. The dam is about to break, and I wouldn't surprise me with the White Sox and Cubs. That would be fun. A crosstown trade during the crosstown series, that would be a new spark. Maybe Adrian Hauser outduels Shota Imanaga tomorrow, or the Cubs win 2-1, and they're like, okay, enough's enough. Let's get that guy on our side of town. Or Talkman. Again, Sox aren't just giving Talkman away. Let's take 2 out of 3 from the Sox. I got a feeling the Sox will win at least one game this week. Yeah, everybody was discrediting the White Sox, folks. Okay, I want to add this little nugget. So the Cubs, in the month of July, I believe the Cubs are like 10-8 or something like that. Let me look this up. The Cubs in the month of July. I'm looking at the wrong year. I'm looking at some 2016 year. Did they do anything that year? Oh boy. The Chicago Cubs this month are 11-7. I believe the White Sox are a game under 5. They might even be 500. This is not a pushover. Like I said this the other day on the White Sox recap podcast. We don't want to celebrate the record of the White Sox. They're 9-10 in July, but the White Sox since June 1st, okay, are 19-26. They're not awful. Everybody just saying, "Oh, the White Sox are going to get swept." I don't know. Ideally, you would love to have another starter before the Milwaukee series. Will that happen? Probably not. LC, my minor league tour continues as I will be in Arizona for the conclusion of the ACL tonight. If I'm the Cubs, go after Dylan Cease and Severino, who I believe pitches tonight for Sacramento. I like the Dylan Cease move a lot. I think he'd be highly motivated to come here, especially since he was drafted by the Cubs. It'd be a cool story. Eric, like I said, let's wait until after the trade deadline to see when the Cubs make some moves and how great they will be. There's a guy he's got the key to my heart. What's up, Charles? I say let Jed cook. He's not going to give our prospects away for nothing. I think a blockbuster is on the way. Charles, another voice of reason. Speaking of voice of reasons, Godfather. Ricketts wouldn't pay in the winter. Wanted to stay under the luxury tax. Blame Ricketts for this mess of a rotation. Yeah, if you're going to blame Jed, I'll pay to play. Pay to play. Believe it or not, I feel the Sox will take 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. Why? Playing good baseball. It pains me to say that as a Cub fan. Sorry for shouting, Guff, but the Pirates make no sense. Just shouting about nutting is like Godfather saying something about the luxury tax. Terry, to all the prospect hoarders, if 2016 taught us anything, winning seasons are fleeting. If you can get pieces you need now, go for it. It may take years to get back to where we are now in the standings. Finally, somebody listens. Terry, amen. Amen, Terry. If I could, I'd get you a Big Daddy mug right now and fill it with whatever you want. Mango Cart, Sam Adams Summer Ale, Kona Big Wave, the Michelob Ultra. It's lunchtime. I mentioned those specials, the OG wings, the boneless wings, the hamburger. Delicious. Cinnamon pretzel bites, always a good way to end the meal. Order.hooters.com if you want it DoorDashed right to your office or door. You can pick it up too. Get a Big Daddy mug. Get that Repo Rita, the $8 Repo Rito. And this month, of course, the $14.99 crab legs. I shared the picture yesterday of my mother-in-law knuckle deep in some crab. Like I said, thanks for the invite. Thanks for the invite. Proud partner of us here at the Recap, our buddies at Hooters, originalhooters.com. Visit one of the 11 Chicagoland locations nearest you. Dan, go Sox. We swept the Sox on the north side. Different time, Becky. It's a different team, Becky. You know what? I'm going to pull this. Let me pull this up. When you swept the White Sox on the north side, going into that game, the White Sox were 14-30. It started, they were coming off a 5-21 month of April. Different time. Swayze, absolutely nothing negative to say about Colin Ray. He has been above and beyond what we expected. Get some rotation pieces and beef up the bullpen with him. Lip Ripper. Sox are fun. That win last night shows the kids how to win, which is more important than any record right now. Amen. The Dead. That was earlier this year, Becky. It's odd the Sox are playing much better ball. Unfortunately, they're playing better than the Cubs, and it will probably continue into the games this weekend. Lip Ripper. Look how good. Look at the differences of how people feel on an off day for both teams. Cubs, Sox. It's been a long time since we can say that. If the Sox take 2 of 3 from the Cubs, that would be really fun. I don't disagree. Godfather Sox fans doing just what Reinsdorf wants. Forget how he's been screwing Sox fans for the longest time. Nope. No one's forgetting that at all. What they're seeing, Godfather, is an actual glimpse of progress and a plan. It's nice to see players that have been acquired for big name talent come in and actually live up to who their names are. Colson Montgomery, a pair of home runs. He had 5 RBI last night. Kyle Teal hits his first career homer last night. I said this in the recap. You look at the box score and it's hard not to get excited. A 4-hit night from Kyle Teal, a 5 RBI night from Colson Montgomery, Miguel Vargas. It's hard not to get excited. Big hit by Chase Mydroth. Big tag in the 9th inning. This being screwed is being here. Again, 41 and 121, having to bottom out twice. That's being screwed. And that didn't change. They at least are showing signs that maybe it's progress. But in order to complement your young roster, at some point you need to spend. Are they going to do that? We'll see. RIP to the Hulkamania. Heading back home to Chicago on Saturday, says CPO. Plenty in time for Bears football and the trade deadline, which, by the way, we will do a trade deadline special right here on the recap. It'll be Cap and myself. We'll see if we can get guests along the way. 4:30. We'll go. The trade deadline is at 5, I believe. We'll go through the 5 p.m. hour into make sure all the trades are reported right here as we go live. I think they will. The Sox are playing better ball than the Cubs. It really sucks saying that as a Cub fan. It's true. Go Cubs, says Sean. Becky. Dead. Let's not ask Guff if the Cubs can win and see if that'll help the Cubs. Lip, Bears should do some Oklahoma drills. Those have been banned. Did plenty of those in my day. Whew. Might be why I'm sitting here groggy. I'm not making a joke of that, but yeah. Joined late. What's up, Guffy? I'm actually impressed with the Bears in camp. Recently, Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen not messing around. I love the accountability. Said that early, and I love it. Go Bears. Jess, awesome. Crosstown Classic. Still a fine way to spend Friday's lunch. I still blame the Ricketts and their money-saving issues, period, says the Dead. There's Breck. The Rocks got their first shutout in 221 games. So back. I did this the other day, and it's going to come down to the wire. I do think the White Sox, unfortunately, will still be the record holder after this season. I really do. So if I do the current Colorado Rockies, they're literally, this is no joke. Right now, the Rockies are on pace to be 41 and 121, which would tie them with last year's White Sox. I think the Rockies are going to win like 43 games. I really do. The 16 team had a better rotation. They had a crappy bullpen. Sean, Jed's plotting his moves from Tommy's dungeon under Gallagher way as we speak. Josh, you guys are crazy as hell. Also high on something the Cubs will be fine. Also, Ricketts isn't messing either. He's letting Jed go make the moves he needs to make. Let's relax. I think people are a little bit hesitant and panicky, Josh, and that's okay as to where we sit right now. Everyone's just sitting there going, we can't keep losing these games knowing what our needs are, but no one else is doing it either. Alcantara looked great yesterday. Oh, Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara for the Cubs. Alcantara. I still don't trust him due to the inconsistency this year. An ERA of 6.66. I stay away. Cease is more trustworthy at this point, I think. I don't hate that. Astros, what's going on? Like you said about Tucker, you have to give up quality to get quality. Tucker's having a fine year while Cam Smith will be a star one day, and Paredes was an all-star. Paredes is hurt, and I'm okay that the Cubs traded him. Just to put the Kyle Tucker into perspective, folks, he's having a fine year. He has an OPS plus of 152, which is the second highest of his career. So just want to go out there, let everybody know he's having more than a fine year. Cam Smith, pretty decent, pretty good, almost a 2-WAR player. 7 bombs, 42 RBI, and a 104 OPS plus, which is just above league average. He's a rookie. Pablo, I've had also wow, ulcerative colitis for 25 years. Had my biennial colonoscopy today. All went well. Doc said any question that said, will I be on time to watch the recap lunch hour? Pablo, you are one of one, my man. This is our daily screener checkup. We do this often here on the show. Mammograms, colonoscopies, prostates. Folks, don't be a superhero. I want you guys here for as long as we can. So let's do the stuff. And that includes me. I got to do some of this stuff as well. Speaking of which, let's talk about the recap bet of the day. So I gave 2 out, right when I get greedy, I gave 2 out. I'm not sure our guy, Taj Bradley for the Tampa Bay Rays, is going to be all that happy with me. I bet on him to go 6 innings and give up more than 1.5 runs. Well, we were 1-1. We split it. And then he got optioned. He didn't make it out of the second inning. He got sent to AAA after the game. I'm putting the Aviators on because a win's a win. We went 1-1 yesterday. We're 2-2 on the week. It feels like we're really flying. No White Sox or Cubs tonight as they rest up for the Crosstown Classic. Reese Olson. Okay, so the Tigers are struggling. Reese Olson pitching against the Blue Jays today, who are first place in the AL East, which is crazy. He went head-to-head with them on May 17th. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 6 strikeouts. Here's his strikeout totals from that outing. 6.58, 7.75, 3.5, and then he had 7 against the Dodgers in his last start. The Tigers need a big start from Reese Olson. He's had a very good year. I'm getting plus money on this. I think the plus money is the hook I like a lot here. Reese Olson to strike out 5 or more. Toronto Blue Jays tonight playing it. That'll be a fun series to watch. Possible playoff preview there in Detroit, which is absolutely awesome. Back to the chat. The Dead, I don't trust any Marlins pitcher. Cabrera with his elbow scare. Alcantara not sold on him. Lip, I got take that will fire the chat up. Brewers winning the AL Central. Oh, Lip Ripper coming in and just pouring gas. Hey, Guff, the Cubs are going to pound the White Sox pitching. The White Sox offense can't keep up with the Cubs. I agree in theory. I mean, Adrian Hauser's pitching tomorrow for the White Sox, and the White Sox have scored double the amount of runs in the week after the All-Star break. The White Sox normally are a get healthy or get right series. Better hope so. Josh, Guff, what would you want to see first this year? Cubs World Series title or Bears playoff berth and a win? This is the easiest answer of all time for me. Bears playoffs and a win. Easiest answer ever, because I know how important a Bears playoff win to this city would mean. And that would be awesome because we haven't seen that in way too long. The Astros, the Brewers are going nowhere. A really sound team and getting Woodruff back really helped them. Yeah, they're going nowhere. Like, they're going to be in the playoffs. This Crosstown Classic is going to be just that, a classic. Sox are rolling right now, playing some really good baseball, so the Cubs better bring it. Guff, those Sox since the All-Star break are so fun to watch. They gave the Rays all they could handle, and the offense is alive. 49 runs in 6 games, over 8 runs a game. Crazy. 3 games of 10 or more runs. The Brewers are definitely going somewhere. They drank blood again. They will win something. Eric, Guff, look at it this way. Like Becky said, they almost have the same record before the trade deadline like the 16 Cubs. Let's not panic right now. Still lots of baseball left. That's what I've been saying. Since Lugo handled his business, why not go after him? I do think he's on their radar. If you made the bet of the day, Guff, there goes the boat delivery service. That's good. That's good. Adrian Hauser could be real tough with the Cubs Friday. I see a 3-2 game with Hauser versus Imanaga. Take the under. Pablo says, Jess, hope the colonoscopy went well. Not a fan of those. I'm always glad when they are done. I got to get one. See a White Sox series win, says a dead. God, I hope I'm wrong. Start bench cup. Best Hulk Hogan moment. Start. Hogan slams onto the Giant 1,000%. Was that Super WrestleMania 2? Bench. Hogan turns heel. I like, Pablo, I'm living in that world. The city would melt. Are Cubs willing to eat some salary and give up prospects? Yes. I think they're, in terms of, eat another player's salary, I think yes. 100%. They have already, Jed came out and said no one's untouchable. Didn't the Sox and Cubs do the Craig Kimbrell trade while they played on the South Side back in 21? I would have to look at that. You might be right. I thought it was right. I thought Kimbrell pitched against the Cubs shortly after that. So that was 2021. Let's take a look real quick. Did his last game come against? He was pitching for the Cubs. Yeah. So 7/26. So did that happen? I'd have to look at that. I'd have to look at the entire. So there was that fight. Basically, it was this exact same time of year. He got traded to the White Sox after the Cubs were playing the Reds. Let's take a look real quick. Just maybe you're right, and I don't remember that. I do remember being jacked up, and then it just failed miserably. No, they were playing the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, so that did not happen when they were playing. Not me. Sox will take 2 out of 3. Appreciate you. Yeah, Pablo, we're on your side. Phil, while the Sox may be playing well, they're still in last place in the Tigers. We know that. I'm not sitting here saying the Sox are the world beaters. This is about the White Sox playing much better baseball and taking that into 2026. Terry with the comment of the day. Yep. What's going on, Jimbo? Always good to see you, buddy. Cubs have everything to lose. Sox fans, now we suck. We'd love to spoil the lovable loser weekend. U.S. Is that Youth Spark Talk? RIP to the Hulkster. You'll be there next Friday. Nice, Jess. Brian, why not pull a Randy Marsh and trade half the farm for Skeens? Because the Pirates aren't trading him. Dodgers never draft high. They always have a loaded system. You can replenish prospects if you get him. Don't sleep on the Sox like you did. KC, teams with nothing to lose are dangerous. KC, second best ERA in all of baseball. Believe it or not, Sox are close to getting off the 100-loss pace for the season, which is something because they're really rolling. By the way, let me see what that is. I had them at 53 wins. It certainly feels like BA had him at 63, and he's starting to feel like he just might be closer. 58 wins is now what the White Sox are on pace for. So 58 wins puts them at 58 and 104. So they're getting closer. They're getting closer. A lot of Hulk Hogan love here. When Amaya comes back, do we keep Reese up? That'll be a very interesting thing to find out. One Cub they got years ago at the deadline was a huge mistake, was letting Nick Castellanos walk after he was a great Cub. They've had some bad walks. Kyle Schwarber, bad. We should bet on the Sox this weekend. Tomorrow, we will be all over the Cubs. Sox for bet of the day. Sox sweep the flubs. Let's go, boys. And why is amazing is the Cubs have many pitchers off the scrap heap who did amazing, like Colin Ray, Pomeranz. Now these guys are coming back down to earth. Yes, KO. Hulk Hogan died. We've got that news about hour and a half ago. So there's the bet of the day. We're going Reese Olson of the Detroit Tigers, 5 or more strikeouts as we try to have a winning week. If we get to 3-2 and carry that in tomorrow, let's go. No, Vizzo, I will put this last. Caleb had a rough day in his deep ball. The offense very rarely looks good in day one. Okay, all levels. So I'm not worried. It's flipping July 24th. What another good show. I knew it'd be another good show. There are a lot of opinions, a lot of panic. That's where we are with the Cubs right now. Feel like we all need to meet at Hooters and talk, break some bread, have a cocktail, discuss together. But we got a week. We have one more week before the MLB trade deadline, and then we can finally lash out one way or the other. Like, love, hate, in between. It's all there. Have a great day. It's hot. Take care of yourselves. Check out your neighbor. Make sure the elderly are taken care of. If you have any in your life, make sure you're hydrating. Hydrate. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. For everybody here at the Recap, I'm Ryan McGuffey. It's the Recap Lunch Hour. It's always brought to you by Hooters, originalhooters.com. Visit one of the 11 Chicagoland locations nearest you. The Repo Rita, $8. One more week to the trade deadline, and then the Repo Rita is the drink of the month. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll have a Friday Crosstown edition of the Recap Lunch Hour. Can't wait. Cubs and Sox round 2 tomorrow. See you later. Take